While I do feel like the game was overall fun, I'm still not sure whether or not to give it a positive or negative review, as there are a few things that left it feeling bland towards the end. First off, this is a short game. I played 6 hours and completed the game on the hardest difficulty. With essentially one exception, all but the final area was beaten with the same simple strategy of have the builder drone's turret spam. This strategy has also shown some of the flaws with the builder drones themselves. First, you cannot destroy building once placed, meaning that once an area was cleared you couldn't replace your turrets with resource generators. Secondly, the game will let you place building in places where your drones cannot reach, such as in pockets in the wall, or even in the black area outside the map, the issue being that the drones will decide that they must build even though they cannot reach, and thus just sit there facing a wall and wasting pop space until you realize what is happening and delete the blueprint. Third, one of the technologies that really helps the strategy is the tech that allows you to turn off the production of other units, but with each unit turned off the price of the builder drones increases. But you only need to turn off the drones you have unlocked, which then leads to the realization that unlocking extra parts of the tech tree is detrimental to the efficacy of the strategy. Fourth, you cannot place blueprints in areas where enemies currently stand or where a beam weapon is currently firing, even though there is no issue with them walking over it after it is placed. And finally, it's more a nitpick than an actual issue, but builder drone deaths don't count towards the final bug death tally at the end of the level, which leads to the amusing result of the end of level screen being displayed with 0 bug deaths for 80% of the levels. Next, after like the third area, new, distinct enemy types stopped really appearing, so you just end up facing increasing numbers of the same enemies for the remainder of the game. There is one new enemy that is distinct in having a splash attack introduced in the last chapter or two, but that's it. There are a couple of new defensive building introduced to differing effects. I have no idea why it was deemed that a handful of single-use landmines was deemed a threat that needed to wait until the end of the game to be unveiled in a game about literally Zerg rushing. Reminds me of the inverse game of Infested Planet, which I consider to be one of the greatest games of all time. As for this game though, lots of replayability. Not too much strategy is actually involved, so much as just spamming respawn zones and resource nodes essentially, but it's slightly idle game as well. Still fun, still enjoyable. Haven't beat the game yet. Anyone that's beat it before 4 hours simply played on the easiest mode. In playing normal mode, to give you a time versus money reference point. I feel like the dev deserved the money. I don't regret paying $15 for it. I finished the game on standard game mode in about 14 hours and still would have fun trying the higher difficulties and survival game mode, so well worth the $1 per hour of gameplay. I think there are a few bugs, to work out. Sometimes I was unable to place walls or the turrets after a wall was destroyed on some levels. Also, when clicking on the selection menu it would place whatever you're holding, so just a few tiny things to fix, and certainly neither of those things impact gameplay in any major way. This is a very fun strategy colony builder type of game that is also very simple. It would be really great to see this game expand as well, because it is a lot of fun, and with some revision and additions to it, it could be something well worth $30 plus if that's something the developers wanted to do. Highly recommend. Great indie title. Smiley face. This gem gives me the feeling of playing as a Zerg overmind, without keep hearing spawn more overlords. You are building up your swarm and trying to overwhelm your enemies without the annoyance of constant micromanagement. If you played other RTS games, don't bother with lower difficulties, go right for the impossible. It might be tricky sometimes with certain builds, but you are able to respec your evolutions, skill tree, freely to find something which works for you. Current content can be done in a few hours, but a new survival mode is in the works. The dev is active on Discord, listening to the community and pumping out requested features / bug fixes fairly often.